Jiří Procházka has come out and talked about how he wants to fight Jamahal Hill next. Obviously, we're going to talk about that fight, and we're going to specifically talk about something a little bit more that I really like about Jiří Procházka. Then again, we're going to talk about all that in just a second. I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to the video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's talk about Jiří Procházka for a second. Okay, so he went on Ariel Helwani's show, and it was really good to see him. I really like his attitude with fights. He praised Glover, he praised Jamahal Hill, said he did a fantastic job. Even if he was a little bit surprised by the decision, he still really respects Jamahal Hill, and this is something that I really like about Jiří. I understand that there's a lot of fighters that are respectful towards one another, but he's just like, we've never seen him do something where a fighter got injured, so he gave up the belt willingly because he didn't want to hold up the division. Obviously, he didn't have to do that. Spoiler alert, and not that it's necessarily really something that you would care to get spoiled. It's just, he said in Ariel's show that he's hoping to be ready by the beginning of summer, August at the very latest, which we have fighters have held the belt for that way longer than just Jiří Procházka has given up the belt. But as soon as he got injured, as soon as he pulled out, he has that, like, I don't know what you call it. I think he calls it something, but it's like a warrior code or something where he's like, hey, I don't want to hold up the division. I can't fight. I can't defend my honor. I can't defend the belt. Here you go. Someone else has to fight for it. I really like that. And could you imagine, like, being that UFC champion, all that you had to do to sacrifice, not only to get there, but then the stuff that you have to sacrifice in giving up that belt? You're no longer a UFC champion. How many sponsors and money does that give up? You don't get pay-per-view points possibly the next time you fight. It is really remarkable to see, and that's something that I really love about Jiří. And it's not something that I really hope like more fighters do. I think more fighters should do it if they're going to be out for like 2 years, like back in the day. I don't know, when Cain Velasquez kept getting injured, you know what I mean? They eventually just kept having an interim belt and then defending the interim belt. Like, no, like, just give up the belt at that point. You know what I mean? So the amount that Jiří was off for, that's totally fine. Just make an interim belt and then fight for the vacant belt. You know, it makes sense. I don't know. It's just really respectful what he does. I really like that. And then speaking of respect, he was very respectful for Jamahal Hill. He was saying that he really hopes that Jamahal Hill fights him. But at the end of the day, if Jamahal Hill, if he doesn't want to wait until August, he understands. And it's like, man, how often do you see fighters doing that stuff? Like, there's not I don't want to say fighters aren't level-headed, but it's a selfish game, and I understand that you do have to be selfish. It's just like, this guy is sacrificing so much to say all these things and to do all these things. He's like, Jamahal Hill, I would really like it if you waited for me, but I understand if you want to go fight somebody else, and this is who I think you should fight. Maybe Rokic is a good fight. If you want to fight Ankalaev, dude's just got a really understanding head on his shoulders, and I really like that about him. For the matchup, though, while I'm here, I'm going to talk about the matchup. What I think is, there's a lot of people talking about right now how Jamahal Hill is the worst champion in UFC history. I completely disagree with that. I think he's a fantastic fighter, just a little bit inexperienced. I don't want what I'm about to say to be linked to that, because that's a big conversation going on in MMA right now with Jamahal Hill being a bad champion. Again, I think he's a fantastic fighter, okay? However, in saying that, I think Jiří Procházka is going to absolutely walk through him. The guy's just on another level, and he was getting hit by shots in that fight by Glover. First of all, his takedown defense was fantastic, okay? But he left his head out there. He was very vulnerable to the leg kicks. He's very heavy on his stance. I can see Jiří just kicking him, blitzing in, and his punches are so much quicker. He was getting hit, Jamahal Hill, by really old and slow Glover Teixeira shots. He can't get hit by that by a lot of people, let alone Jiří Procházka. He's going to go in there. He's going to be absolutely ruthless. I think he's going to be quicker. I think he's going to use the leg kicks to his advantage. I don't see that fight going to the ground, but even if it does, like, I don't know. I can see him getting outworked. That's just what I think. I think he's going to go out there and absolutely storm him and just murder him, to be honest with you. However, I really like Jamahal Hill. I'd like to see him to defy the odds again. But then again, we've seen him defy the odds against Glover Teixeira. How crazy was that? Nobody expected his takedown defense to be that good. Nobody expected him to land as much as he did. So, you know what? Maybe he can prove me wrong again. If Jamahal Hill proves me wrong against Jiří Procházka, I'm going to be totally on the hype train. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like, man, this guy's going to steamroll through the rest of the division because he's fantastic. I'm just really excited for the fight. It sucks that we have to wait till possibly August for Jiří versus Jamahal, but I don't know if he's going to fight in the meantime. I guess we'll find out. I can't wait to hear from what Jamahal Hill says, and I can't wait to see Jiří fight again. One of the most exciting fighters in UFC history, man. I really like him. I really like him. I like the warrior code that he just lives up to, and he's just a really fantastic guy. You know what I mean? So, guys, this is where I'll leave it up to you. I'd love to know what you think down below. What do you think about Jiří Procházka as a fighter, as a person, and what do you think about Jamahal Hill as a champion? How do you see the matchup between Jamahal Hill and Jiří Procházka going? I personally think that Jiří stomps him, but I'd love to know what you guys think down below, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new here and enjoyed the content, please consider hitting like button, would help the channel a ton, and subscribe if you're brand new. Check the description down below for links to all my other channels, and if you want to hear more fight talk about anything MMA related, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.